No more NFC North teams left in the playoffs, and the division is changing as of today. Let's talk about it.
Get in the video.
One seed, 5 seed, 6 seed, doesn't matter. No NFC North teams, the division that was considered the strongest in football through most of the season. No more NFC North teams remain in the playoffs, which includes the number 1 overall NFC seed Lions. That defense, we all knew eventually it would completely give out on them. Obviously, Packers and Vikings already lost last week, but I don't know, man. It seems weird. Like the division that was highly touted, again, as being the best division in football, it's just no success. 0-3 in this playoff run. I mean, yeah, kind of crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, us ourselves included, like everybody's hyping up the NFC North as the most, and we'll go into some of the topics as the most, arguably the best division of all time. I think we had the record for the most, or we had the best record for a division in NFL history, or whatever combined, or however that works. But yeah, so. And everybody one and done, obviously including the Lions with the bye. Before I keep going on here, I do want to do some shout outs here. We had Skull Vikings. Let's go Minnesota Vikings news fan in here earlier today. Let's go Vikings. We had T-Bass in here. Let's concentrate on what the Vikings do. No need to talk crap about the Lions.
Nah, there's plenty of need to talk crap about the Lions.
Yeah. We got to talk a little bit of crap. I mean, I didn't make a thumbnail in the and my title saying Lions choke to not talk any crap about the Lions. I mean, hey, it's the same old Lions, you know what I'm saying? We all knew it. The Lions weren't going to make it to the Super Bowl. They weren't going to win the Super Bowl. And like what Casey said, eventually that defense was going to meet its match with all its injuries and things like that. But I was not expecting it to be Jaden Daniels in that Washington offense. That kid is special. I know a lot of us people in here were big Jaden Daniels fans going up into the draft.
Especially you and Rap. You guys were on that
big time. Well, me and Rap, we had on his show, we had like a whole video breakdown and stuff, and we both came away like, oh, that got like it was the biggest thing for him, and it's impressed me like significantly since he's started here, because what I saw a lot from him the last offseason was obviously he can run the ball. Obviously, and even better than I guess anyone could expect it. He broke the record for the most rushing yards for a rookie quarterback. And then plus he just had like pinpoint accuracy on the sidelines. Like he could just throw that. And we've seen it many times this season where he's just throwing the ball right in the breadbasket, like 30 yards right on the sidelines. And those two things looked really obvious to me. And then the big thing with him is I didn't see him do a lot of like improvising or a lot of like getting out of the pocket and even using his legs to escape the pocket and then run outside the tackles or even throw the ball when the pocket breaks down and he escapes or whatever. What we see out of Caleb Williams and those type of guys, and those are things you're seeing him make those kinds of plays now. And I thought that would. I mean, once he was able to figure out how to use his athleticism to extend plays with his arm, something we had talked about a lot, he was going to be really dangerous. And he's showing that. I don't know, I'm not out here. I think I saw on Bleacher Report, I think their main thing on there is like 4 reasons why Washington will win the Super Bowl. I'm not on that train yet. I don't know. I don't think Jaden Daniels is quite there to take out guys like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes on that side, or even this stacked Eagles team.
Right. But just the one thing you notice with him is just the poise, right? Like the moment wasn't too big. He's a rookie starter, came in week 1 starter. And in the biggest games of his career, I mean, early career, like young career, but in the biggest games in the playoffs, he doesn't flinch. And he just stands in there, makes the throws. You can just tell he stands tall in the pocket. You can just tell he's a confident quarterback. I know he's a little bit older because he was in college a little bit longer, but you can just tell he's not He's not out here playing like a rookie. He's playing like a seasoned veteran, and
Dude.
you really do. I mean, it's just he's not in our division, which is great, but you like to see a young kid like that step up and have a season like he's having.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
And it
how
makes me feel pretty good
crazy.
that maybe JJ McCarthy can do the same thing next year.
I was gonna just go there. I was going to go there. I was gonna say, how crazy is it that CJ Stroud comes out, has like the greatest rookie season ever. The next year, Jaden Daniels comes out his first year, has like the greatest first year season ever, and now next year, JJ McCarthy is gonna have the opportunity to top even that. Hopefully, he'll definitely have the team to do it. And obviously, we'll continue talking about more of that stuff going into the offseason. But let me keep going down and calling out some people here. We have our guy Bleeding Purple in here. Let's go. Skull everyone. Bob Sweet in the building. We got Barber in the building. Who else we got in here? Salid the Vikings. Sup, y'all? Roger. Hi, all. Let's go. Let's go. Whole damn division, not one playoff. Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy. We're going to get into all of that a little bit more here. Who else we got in here? Two-toned in the building. Let's go. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Steve, with Ben Johnson going to Chicago, Packers are back as the front runners of the NFC North.
I don't know about
I don't know about that.
You guys still have a very overrated $50+ million per year quarterback.
Yeah. That's a crazy thing to say after 0-2 against our purple and gold Vikings. You know what I'm saying? See young quarterbacks run a lot. See young quarterbacks get hurt a lot.
Jaden Daniels hasn't gotten hurt yet.
Jaden Daniels. I mean, Josh Allen. Look at him. Jalen Hurts. I mean, three of the four quarterbacks going in who are left are known for running a lot.
Well, and even like if you want to look at the young quarterbacks, like a lot of the first round picks this year run quite a bit. Mm-hmm. None of them have gotten hurt yet.
Oh, you do have to be careful. I know that was something that
absolutely like you got to be smart, and I think that's the one thing Dan Quinn's doing. I think he's being really smart with Daniels, and throughout the year has convinced him to just sometimes it's better just to slide and not have to fight for the extra yardage. But
sorry, young fella. Yeah, I wasn't there. Obviously, Dan Marino is legendary up in here, but I want to make sure. I don't know. I can't trust when people say like these guys had the best rookie season.
Well, he did make a Super Bowl in his rookie season, so that is that's fair.
But then when you never win a Super Bowl for the rest of the
year,
you never make it back to Super Bowl. Then you're like, was it you then? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Dan Marino gets that little asterisk on his career.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'll give him is he the greatest non-winning Super Bowl quarterback of all time? Probably. Besides Fran Tarkenton, of course, but hey, vocal Vike in the building. We got Big Raylan. What's going on, my guy? My guys.
Yeah. So obviously kind of getting back into, Lions, the choke job. Obviously the Commanders finishing that off for us, which is great. Now if they can go ahead and beat Philadelphia, I can enjoy the Super Bowl. I guess maybe that the Chiefs make it, but otherwise I can just enjoy the Super Bowl, not having to worry about NFC North teams or the freaking Eagles making it all the way there. But honestly, like this might have been it. Like, it's hard to say because this team still has a ton of talent on it, but you kind of have to be unsure about the Lions going into next season. Obviously, as Steve mentioned earlier, Ben Johnson officially, it sounds like officially will end up taking the Bears job, a spot that we all kind of figured would happen. And then it sounds like Aaron Glenn is most likely going to get a head coaching job. He's interviewing with the Jets, and then he'll be interviewing with the Saints as well. So, now when you talk about, everyone talks about Dan Campbell and how good of a head coach he is, now we're going to see it because now he's not going to have the coordinators that have carried him to this point. And now they have Jared Goff, who in the biggest game of his, second biggest game of his career, biggest game was obviously last year, but in the biggest game of the season, one of his biggest games of his career, threw 3 interceptions and fumbled. And it just, he kind of looked, he just didn't look like his normal self. And it's just, and now we're going to see what that team's really made of. There are a couple holes. They do have injured guys coming back next year, but now we'll get to see, how Dan Campbell is as a coach with some different coordinators in there. And then you look at a team like the Bears, like the NFC North is shifting a little bit. The Bears, who are supposed to be, a lot of people had favored to win the division this year, which obviously we all knew was a little bit too much. But now we're gonna get to see what the Bears are going to look like with a competent offensive play caller and honestly a head coach that you kind of want with a young quarterback like Caleb Williams. So I don't know, man. The entire outlook of the NFC North is changing. Then of course you got the Vikings who are coming in most likely with a rookie quarterback. So it's, I don't know, man. The Lions, this may have been their best opportunity to get it done, and now we'll see. We'll see what they do going into next year. I mean, plus, like I said, expensive roster. We got some good rookies in there, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
It should be interesting. Rap. It was funny. We just explained the whole thing right when we got on here about us watching the Jaden Daniels film. But yeah, dude, we saw that we were light years, dude, light years. Before I continue with that, again, everybody giving away a Dallas Turner rookie card. Get the hashtag Skulls in the comments, like the video, and subscribe if you have not already. All that good stuff. But no, yeah, I mean, this division is getting a giant shift, and Ben Johnson, what a traitor, you know what I'm saying? Like just leaving and going right to the Bears. I'm not super surprised, of course, if the Bears could get anybody. I can see why Ben Johnson would also want to go to the Bears. Got a lot of wide receiver talent there. Obviously, you have fixed offensive line. You got Caleb Williams. I know a lot of people say like his system and philosophy and whatever might not be the best for a quarterback like Caleb Williams and the way he plays, less structure, I guess. But Ben Johnson's an offensive, I mean, based on what I've seen, I mean, that dude is one of the most creative guys I've seen. Jamie, are you related to the late great Trent? You say Treat Williams or Trent Williams? Trent Williams, yeah. But yeah. So going into the Bears, obviously, I think he's going to be tough. I mean, who knows what you are as a head coach, but from an offensive play calling standpoint, it's like, I'm not sleeping on him. I see a lot of people on Twitter like, oh, it's not a good match, da-da-da-da-da. I'm not sleeping on that.
I'm worried. To me, I wanted them to go Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, me too. That sounds kind of scary to me. Maybe it doesn't work out, but maybe Ben Johnson has the ability to like change for his quarterback or whatever. And obviously he went there for a reason. But yeah, as far as the Lions go, I mean, that's rough. I mean, you lose two of the most sought after coordinators in the NFL this year. And, after obviously, I would say, I mean, the Lions had a very unlucky season. Obviously, you lose Aiden Hutchinson. You have all these injuries. It is what it is. It's the Lions. That's the thing for them. But the Lions still, you still had all this offensive talent. You're still beating teams by so much, for them to lose and get bounced off in the first round when it does kind of feel like, I would not be surprised for them to take a back step next season. Do I think the Packers are the most logical step forward? No. I think the Vikings are definitely the most logical, and that's not even being biased. I just think, I mean, another thing, I mean, there's the charts going around with our salary cap to like amount of snaps going into free agency, and we're up there with the best there, if not arguably the best based on that chart. And it's really gonna come down to JJ McCarthy or whoever's starting the quarterback, assuming it's going to be JJ McCarthy, because I do think we're going to be spending a lot this offseason and filling up a lot of holes. And I think as a team overall, I think we're going to go into the next season a better squad for sure. Really, it's a lot's going to come down to the play of JJ McCarthy, but still, based on paper, I'm taking us all day. For sure, but
McCarthy might be bad though. Hey, what's going on, Tweeva? Jaden Daniels potentially could have been bad. Sam Darnold could come back next year, and turns out this season was a fluke. You got to take the risk sometimes.
Well, and then how bad? I mean, how many quarterbacks could succeed with this talent? I mean, say what you want about, I don't know, like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, did he break out this season? Was it just his breakout year, or was it the talent in KOC? I don't know. So I mean, Josh Dobbs, when he played there for a few games, less talent probably overall, obviously. And I'm like, I just think JJ McCarthy is in such a great situation. And obviously he's done a lot to this point. Like if there's a team to succeed on, it's going to be this one. And I don't think there's any reason, in my opinion, there's no reason from when we drafted him up until his injury to believe that he couldn't at least be a really solid player, but I think he can be more than that. But again, you never
We'll
know
see.
for sure.
Right.
But you do have to take chance. Obviously, you drafted him top 10 for a reason. So that's the thing. So I mean, you got to believe. Like, I'm going to believe in KOC. I'm going to believe in the talent until we're proven otherwise. And that is the case. Like, JJ McCarthy comes in here and he just plays dumb. Like, the kid has all the talent in the world. He's on a team where he can. It's like he was able to handle a team like Harbaugh's and Michigan's. Obviously, they had a stronger run game, but assuming that our run game can be a lot stronger with us filling some holes on that offensive line, I just don't think JJ McCarthy will have to do a lot to make this team good. Hopefully he surpasses that and it makes us really good. You know, that's the whole thing. But
yeah, but I mean, I think like the most fun thing about next season though is, again, the entire NFC North. It's going to be
Adam, by the way.
Like every team is going to be total. I mean, the Packers are the one team that's going to stay the most consistent, obviously, because they're going in the same coach and quarterback. But everything else is going to shift, right? I mean, it's every other team other than the Packers is going to be kind of unknown. But with the Packers, you definitely need to hope that Jordan Love can be more of the good side of Jordan Love that we've seen, not the bad side of Jordan Love, because both exist, obviously, as we've seen multiple times throughout his career so far. And you gave him all that money for one half a good season. So again, we'll see but the entire NFC North, it's going to be fun to watch. It's unpredictable next year, like completely unpredictable. And that's going to be the most fun part. Like it's going to be tough to pick a favorite just because there are so many moving parts. I mean, like Steve said, the Packers by default might just be the favorite just because they're the team that's going to stay the most consistent. But I don't know.
Casey knows the truth at the
Packers. That didn't necessarily say, but
what's going on, Valerie? Hey, appreciate you coming back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Packers are always going to be the favorite. They're the favorite every single time, even though they shouldn't be, and proven otherwise many times. I think it's going to be the same thing. We're going to get slept on again probably next year. Not nearly as much as before. I think it's going to be really obvious that it really just comes down to JJ McCarthy. As far as like his progression and how he plays or whatever. And even to Big Raylan, like, I guess you can call JJ McCarthy a system quarterback. He definitely was for Michigan. I personally think he was just playing in that system. He was just playing that in that system really well because that's what he was just told to do. And that's what he did. But he showed us a lot during training camp and in that first preseason game that he was more than just a Jim Harbaugh system. So I'm expecting to see more from him. And then prior to that, like in high school and up, he wasn't a system quarterback then. He was a guy that was elevating his team and things like that. So we'll see. I mean, you don't know for sure. There's reasons. I personally am like, why? I don't think there's anything you should see from that kid so far that makes you like JJ McCarthy isn't that guy. Like, yeah, tiptoe around a little bit. We could be wrong. He could not be, I guess. But he hasn't done one single thing outside of being injured that shows me like, oh, he can't do it. Like, he proved everything people said bad about him before getting drafted. Like, he kind of proved all of that wrong up until his injury. Yes, not regular NFL games yet, but still, I mean, the fact that he even did that was big to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
sometimes
top run. I mean, look at Corum now. He ain't that top running back anymore.
And sometimes you just got to, like, when it comes to looking forward to the future and just finding something to be excited about, you do got, I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but you do got to take that one playoff game and use that as your reason to be like, hey, man, if I know it was just a preseason game, but if he can replicate even half of that going into the season, we're going to be in a good spot.
Hey, George with the $10. Hey, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Absolutely. And again, everybody, giving away the Dallas Turner rookie card. Get the hashtag Skol in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. Dallas Turner, I still believe, 21 years old. I think he's going to be a stud, though it doesn't mean that Jared Verse wasn't the right selection. It can be both things. I believe in Dallas Turner, but at this point, you're just hoping Dallas Turner can eventually be a guy like Jared Verse.
I think Kwesi went into that knowing what he had for the now, went into that thinking like, can he be better than Verse once he gets some experience and gets a little bigger,
could
gets some
be.
age? I think
Yeah. And you don't even know that's Verse. No one knew Verse
raw,
was going to be that good. He would have been a
right.
top 10 pick all day if
Yeah,
we knew
but
that, you know.
you were betting on the raw traits of Dallas Turner, knowing that you didn't need him to play today, right now, and that you could, you know, as you said, the window's kind of a little bit longer. And Jared Verse a little bit older, I believe, 24 years old. So there's just a couple different things you got to take into consideration.
Yeah, 100%. Roman Wilson. Yeah, who did Roman Wilson go to? Did he go to the Rams as well?
I don't know.
Who
I'm
did
not
he go
sure.
to?
I know pretty much all of his weapons from that national championship team haven't really done a whole lot.
Dude. What up, Skull Mafia? I don't know if I called you out yet, but no. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I believe in JJ McCarthy. I think we're gonna have the best team. Not even just that. Like there's gonna be a lot to roll on JJ McCarthy, but it's exciting. Like I think it's going to be a very high floor situation for him. And if he exceeds not even well, I have high expectations, so exceeding my expectations would be big. But if he ends up being good, if he has anywhere near a Bo Nix season or a Jaden Daniels, like people are going to say that's crazy. Well, we saw Bo Nix do it. He got drafted after. We saw Jaden Daniels do it. If he has a season like any of these rookie quarterbacks this year, pretty much, then I would expect, unless he's the worst quarterback in the first round from this last year's draft, I would expect him to do enough for this team. I think any of these quarterbacks this year could have excelled. Even though we didn't see a lot of Penix, even the little bit we did see of him, I was like, if he played for the team that I believe we're going to have coming up, meaning we can protect the inside of our offense.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
SK joining us from Twitter. What's going on, my man? Wilson is in Pittsburgh. Okay. Yes, that's right. I remember seeing that, thinking like, I'm surprised he didn't get more playing time considering they don't have much.
Hey, what up, SK? In Kinetic in the building as well. Expect rookie growing pains, but his success rely on whether or not the Vikings dress the trenches. Yeah. And I do, and I 100%,
that is a big thing, and that's where we need.
And they're going. They got to. I mean, it's at the point now where it feels like it's going to be kind of tough because it just feels like an absolute no-brainer. I mean, obviously they know that. It just feels like we have the money to go get guys we want, but it wouldn't be the first time that we're like, oh, we're going to go get like 2 guards and like a cornerback and a defensive tackle or whatever, and then, you know, end up getting one of them or nothing or whatever. So obviously the free agency is going to be a huge one. But if we get that interior offensive line figured out, I just like, there's no reason why any quarterback shouldn't succeed. If you don't succeed with that Vikings offense, with actual good guards there, then you're definitely just not made for the pros at all. And there'll be some growing pains or whatever, but I don't know. I believe in JJ McCarthy, but we'll see what happens. I'll speak when I have something to contribute. Big Raylan, my boy, you always have something to contribute. This team will go as far as the trenches take us. I can see that. On both sides of the ball. Sides of the ball.
Draft the meanest defensive tackle you can find in the first round. I do not care. I do not care. This draft is so deep at running back. You wait till the third round, grab yourself a running back in the third round.
Yep.
I'm cool.
Yep.
I'm cool with all that.
Keep on going here. Lions choke. Just hit this one more time. Ha 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 ha. Yep.
No more Lions NFC fans. North teams left in the playoffs, which does bring you to the next question here. Are the NFC North division a bunch of frauds? I think we've already kind of discussed that. I mean, the answer is no. I mean, obviously the Lions, that is just a well-rounded, well-drafted football team. Who overpaid for Jared Goff.
I'm going to say a little bit frauds. Maybe
a little. But
they are, because the Packers are frauds, and they were just frauds the whole year. Like, they were always frauds because they still wanted them to be like the best in the division, even when they just kept losing against both of us and the Lions. So they're just automatically were frauds. The Vikings, they got 14-2. I think they proved that we're not quite yet a 14-2 team. I think we're a team that deserved 12 wins easy. I think we're one of the better teams in the NFL, but we're not a 14-2 team ready to win a Super Bowl yet. And then the Lions as well there. I mean, they were a lot of injuries. Yes, if you could take the injuries away, if they didn't have all the injuries, would things have been different there for them? Probably. But losing to Washington in their first game of playoffs was
at home. That's the big thing.
At home,
to a rookie quarterback. Like that's
a rookie quarterback.
Like head scratcher. I mean, because let's be honest, like
And they're the bottom
had,
seed. They're the bottom seed coming into
yeah,
playoffs,
like
I believe, right?
yeah, like they've had they've had a lot of these injuries for most of the season, right? And
What's up, Steve?
they were
What
still
up?
going
What up?
around blowing teams out and winning by a ton. So I mean, you know, like I don't want to hear the injuries as an excuse because you had them all year long and you're still finding ways to win games. So the injuries aren't an excuse, right?
Jamie, you're lucky I'm not in the mic. Steve, we were set up for you before that last Packers game, and we didn't see you out here. That's a good thing sometimes when other people, like if there's other fans in this chat, it's like you don't really get the same voice, you know. But I mean, I thought the Packers are. I mean, obviously they were frauds. They were super obviously frauds. I don't know. If we were frauds, then they were definitely frauds. Sorry. Anyways, yeah. That's NFC North. My opinion. I would say frauds. As a whole, they were not. They didn't meet the expectation as being the best division in NFL history. It's just they just didn't. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I still wouldn't. I wouldn't necessarily say frauds. I would just say choked would be the big one. Tripped over their own 2 feet when they
not
they
as
needed to
choked
not
would be
so.
the Lions losing. That was definitely choke. And then Mark Andrews, man, if you got to feel for somebody, you got to feel a little bit for Mark Andrews, because I know if someone's going through it today, it's got to be him. That was tough, and that's where we can keep going here. And I guess I want to know your opinion. Just we can kind of go out into like this weekend and the matchups coming up. But what was your thoughts on the other games this weekend outside of obviously the Lions like choking super bad?
Every single game other than Chiefs refs versus Texans was exciting. I mean, I only watched the first half of that the early game there, but all the other ones were incredibly competitive. I mean, obviously the Lions Commanders game was high scoring shootout. Like that's football. It's fun to watch. I mean, if you're a defensive, if you're the defensive coordinator on those teams, you're pulling your hair out because neither of them could stop anybody for most of the game except for when Jared Goff was throwing them the football or fumbling it for him. But so that game was obviously exciting. But then the 2 games on Sunday, I mean, obviously that Eagles Rams game, I mean, the best thing about those 2 games was old school snowy football. Like that was incredibly fun to watch. And I think you can take, I mean, and then obviously that late game, I mean, that game was the game of the weekend in my mind. I mean, the 2 front runners for MVP going against each other. And honestly, they both played like MVPs. I mean, obviously not a lot of passing in the first half. They both did it with their legs. And at the end of the day, I mean, obviously the fumble by the big loser in that game was Mark Andrews, but Lamar Jackson had, I believe, 2 turnovers, or did he have the 1 interception? When it comes down to
he had the strip sack.
Yeah, that's what
that was pretty. That was bad. That was pretty bad.
When it comes down to the quarterbacks taking care of the football, Josh Allen won that in the best way possible. And honestly, obviously, I know the Ravens were down Zay Flowers, but I think this entire year, if you want to talk about a team that's sort of overachieved their talent, I do think it is the Buffalo Bills. I mean, their top receiver coming into the season was Khalil Shakir, right? And he's, I mean, just kind of a whatever type receiver. Traded away. I mean, obviously no Stephon Diggs. So they came in, and then their defense, I mean, everyone, like Josh Allen said, everyone said their defense wasn't talented enough and too small to compete in the big games. And like that, to me, that Bills team is more impressive. And that's the one reason why I think Josh Allen should and will win MVP. It's just because he had a lot less talent on that football team on his offense all season long. And he absolutely carried him. So I thought all the games were exciting. And honestly, like one of the biggest things that you can take away from a lot of these games is, and especially I look at that Eagles game, and I think that's kind of what you need to replicate, is an amazing, I mean, and their quarterback, Jalen Hurts, iffy. I mean, obviously he's been kind of iffy a lot of the season. I mean, I know a lot of people make fun, like, I don't want to watch him in the Super Bowl throwing for 180 yards.
Yeah, I know.
Because it does seem to happen a lot.
This just didn't feel like that was the same before.
Right. Exactly. But I think they do run the football more now, having Barkley there. But if you want to see, but a lot of these games this weekend did kind of show you the blueprint that I do think the Vikings need to follow, and that is just build your trenches. I mean, that offensive line for Philadelphia is amazing. I mean, obviously you're not going to find a Saquon Barkley I mean, unless you draft Ashton Genty, but you're not going to find a Saquon Barkley in every draft like this. But the trenches are how the Philadelphia Eagles won that football game. I mean, Jalen Carter, 2 huge plays at the end of the game that basically sealed it. Offensive line play was great. I mean, it's just they're open. I mean, Barkley obviously busts some big runs because of the blocks on that offensive line. So in my mind, you just kind of look at these teams and kind of see what we're missing. I mean, it's the offensive lines. It is the trenches. And that's something that, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist and having to watch those games to see that. You could watch our games and kind of, see how it goes. But I do think you got to take the blueprint to that Philadelphia Eagles team and just build the trenches, build that offensive line. And the big thing is, like, you got to be able to establish a run game. I know Kevin O'Connell doesn't necessarily like to run the football, as we've seen. Maybe he, didn't trust the offensive line to run block for it enough. I don't really know. But I do think that you need to find yourself a legitimate running back and find yourself a couple guards that can block in the run game. Because that's one thing we were missing, like too much, Aaron Jones just getting hit at the line of scrimmage all year long. And that's something that, like, when I watch that Eagles game, like that's the blueprint. That Eagles team needs to be the blueprint for this offseason.
Yeah. And I mean, that's 100% on both sides of the, I mean, that's kind of all we need too. Like, it's all we need. And the fact that is that important. And we've got, as far as we did without having those, I thought is big. As far as the run game goes, I do think there's a lot of, I think Kevin O'Connell is just a passing type of coach. But at the same time, the reality is, for the most part, our run game it wasn't picking up the chunk plays consistent enough at all. Like, when you do watch,
I do think that's
when you do watch Derrick Henry,
the offensive line in
ways. And I do think it, like, people want to blame everything that Kevin O'Connell doesn't run, it all starts with him and the fact that, well, him and the GM, the fact that we don't have a team that can run the ball well, because they've been here long enough to fix that. Now I think it's really obvious for them to do it, because we just couldn't do it consistent. When you watch these teams, like even with Jared Cook, right? That's Dalvin Cook's brother, right?
Yeah, James Cook.
Jared
Cook was the tight end.
Yeah. Okay. James Cook. Yeah, you see it with James Cook. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, but even like Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, like, it's just, that is an extremely important part of this game. And, there's a reason, it's a big reason why a lot of these teams are still in it. I guess you don't see it as much. I mean, even Brian Robinson Jr. had a very, very solid season this year for the most part. So it is a big part of this game, and it is something that we're going to have to see. But, man, I do feel bad I like Lamar. I know you were never that big of a Lamar guy, but I like him. I know people.
So, look, I personally, I mean, I was always one of those guys that said Josh Allen is overrated as well. And then I drafted. Then they were both my quarterbacks on 2 different fantasy teams.
Oh, so you're good now.
And now I have a new respect and appreciation for how the two played the game.
Well, no, I like Lamar Jackson.
But I will say Lamar Jackson has impressed me a lot, because I never thought he could actually throw the football, and he's throwing it a lot more, and he's being safe. Like, he's not, he's being safer in the run game for sure. But the fact that he only had 4 or 5 interceptions all season long, like, that's the thing I didn't like. I know he wanted to be a runner that didn't really want to throw the football, but he's definitely taken steps forward in that regard of being a passing quarterback before a rushing quarterback. So he is growing on me. I think he's finally becoming more of a standard quarterback, and he can just, I mean, obviously the way that he runs the football is just icing on the cake. So he's growing on, he's growing on me, and I'm having a new appreciation.
Well, that's being said, like, that's where I don't know. I get it. What is he, 3 for 5 in playoffs now? I don't really look into all that stuff. I mean, it was a hard one. That was a game. It was like, that's,
he did everything right,
Super Bowl game. And that's a game. Yeah. And the interception. I missed the interception though.
Yeah, but I mean, but he led them down the field. That touchdown pass was, that was just a perfectly placed throw for Isaiah Likely. And I know a lot of people question the play call, like the rollout, throw the ball short of the goal line play call there, but it was right there in front of him. I mean, Mark Andrews catches that ball.
That's a touchdown.
9 times out of 10.
Or that's a 2-point conversion. I mean,
that's the 1 out of 10 that he drops it.
Yeah, that was fine. Yeah, exactly. I mean, Lamar put him in position to win. That game was definitely not on him. He gave them a shot to win that one. What a great game, though. Obviously, you kind of wish that would have been like the NFC Championship or the AFC Championship game or something like that. Because, man, I mean, it was probably the biggest game of the year. And those are the 2 quarterbacks that you kind of want that I would like to see kind of take over Kansas City's throne, at least for a year or whatever. So it'll be interesting going into these next games with Josh Allen, who The Bills, I believe, they beat the Chiefs earlier in the season already, but Josh Allen's just playing out of control, man. It is crazy when you see when you watch Josh Allen from being a rookie or even Lamar Jackson, and then they just become so fucking good.
Right. Well, and that's kind of and like what I said about Lamar just becoming, safer with the football. You could say the same thing about Josh Allen. Like he's not putting, I mean, the same thing with him. Like the interceptions are way down this year, and he's not putting himself out there in the run game to take those big hits anymore. I mean, obviously at times he still runs up the middle and he obviously does all the tush push stuff as well, but he's not, I think he's also realizing that he needs to be smarter running the ball as well. So these guys have both came a long way. That game to me was the one when I saw that on the schedule for this week. I'm like, that's the one I need to watch from start to finish. Cause that is two MVP front runners and guys that are, basically two of the best quarterbacks in the AFC since they came into the league, 2017. That's just phenomenal football. That's phenomenal quarterbacking as well. And this, again, just the fact that they're both like the same style, who have grown a little bit to be more passers of the football, that was a fun game to watch. Like, that was the game that was the highlight of the week for me.
Yeah. 100%. It was really good. So going into this weekend, NFC side, you got Philly, you got Washington, young Jaden Daniels. Obviously, this one's feeling very strongly. Eagles, big time, sided. Obviously, anything can happen. Washington has been super impressive. We've seen crazier things like each of the Giants' Super Bowl victories that we've seen in our lifetimes. But like you said, I mean, in my opinion, I think the Eagles are probably the most complete team in the NFL. It'd be crazy to see Washington pull this one, but I guess, are you in the same boat as far as that goes?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles win it. The only way they don't is if Jalen Hurts just plays really poorly. Like, what else on that team are you? I mean, I guess, what's his name? First round pick corner. We liked him a lot coming out of the draft. What's his name?
God, what is his name? It's gonna
Quinyon Mitchell. Obviously, with Quinyon Mitchell, I know he went out with the shoulder injury yesterday. I don't know.
Popped in here.
I'm not sure exactly what the updates are on him, but with him being out on that defense, that's a huge blow. So obviously, if Jared Verse wasn't going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year, he probably would have been. He probably was right up there with him. But so that's going to be a huge blow to their defense. But yeah, I would agree. I think they are the most complete team. It just really does all come down to which Jalen Hurts shows up to play against, a division rival, but it is at home. So, yeah, I mean, I like, again, Washington's a fun story. I think there's a lot of, obviously a bright future there when they found their quarterback, but I do think that, Philadelphia, again, being the home team, I do think that they find a way to get this done. Plus, they've been here before, right? Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl. So, and they have Saquon Barkley. I mean, to me, that's the ultimate, that's the ultimate, it's going to Barkley tips the scale for me 100%.
Yeah, big time, especially in that game. Like, even the Super Bowl is going to be good this year, either way, because going on to that other, because this one's an obvious one. The one that's going to be a lot less obvious is going to be the Bills versus Kansas City. Maybe not even on paper, but it just feels like the Bills are hotter right now. Yeah, the Bills versus Patrick Mahomes and the refs in Kansas City, and Taylor Swift. Actually, it's going to be Taylor Swift versus Haley Seinfeld. So I mean, if you want to look at it from that side of view, from that point of view. But anyways, I don't know. Obviously, I mean, I feel like the Bills are the hotter team right now. I think Josh Allen for sure is the hotter quarterback right now, but it's Patrick Mahomes, and you can never sleep on Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, back-to-back Super Bowls, going to be headed towards trying to be the first quarterback to win 3, or first team ever, I believe, right? To win 3 Super Bowls in a row. Or is it just quarterback? Definitely quarterback for sure. But yeah, that's going to be a big one. I guess who you got for that game?
I really, really, really want the Bills to win it. I really, really do. But I don't think the NFL lets it happen. So screw it. I'm going to go bold. I'm picking the Bills. I think Josh Allen, I know obviously he beat Mahomes this year. I think Josh Allen finally gets that elusive playoff win over Patrick Mahomes and gets to a Super Bowl. And I think we're the only 0-4 Super Bowl, or only 0-4 team not win a Super Bowl left. I think the Bills. I'm picking the Bills, just go all the way, win the whole thing. That's my pick.
Yeah, already.
I'm so tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of the Kelsey brothers. I'm tired of Taylor Swift. I'm tired of all of it. Let's just push them off to the side for a Super Bowl, for an off season. I don't need to hear any more about
until
any of
JJ
them.
McCarthy's ready.
Let's just go.
I'm ready for
man.
something.
Let's go get the Bills in the Super Bowl. That's all that I want.
Cool. Josh Allen's. I like Josh Allen. He's like a guy that there's no reason not to like. I mean, who knows? Maybe once he wins the Super Bowl and all the media is on him and the refs start taking his side and all those things. But we'll see that, like with Patrick Mahomes. Even though I don't care what I know, some people are saying Patrick Mahomes. Come on, Patrick Mahomes is not a fraud. He's still to this day done the most ridiculous things I've seen when it matters the most, with or without the refs. And yeah, maybe there's time with the refs, but there's definitely a lot of times that don't include the refs, where when it's a big moment, that guy just steps up. Like he's the one where if there's a 2 minutes, the 2-minute drill or whatever, and he needs to go to score, you almost like for sure know he's going to do that. So that's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a big game there. Yeah, like you said, the Eagles one, it just feels like it should be a steamroll. I hope that one just ends up being a really good game. And it'd be crazy. I'm a little, that's the thing with Jaden Daniels. Like, I like Jaden Daniels. I want him to be good, but then there's that one part of me that is a little bit jealous. And since we have JJ McCarthy, like, I'm not ready for another rookie to like win a Super Bowl their first year coming out of that draft class. So I'm going to take a little like bias there and a little jealousy and a little pettiness. And kind of, I don't really want him to win the Super Bowl in his first year, because I'm like, that's the hard part. It's like, what's the odds? Even though it's stupid, like, what's the odds that all this many quarterbacks come out of that draft and look pretty good? Obviously, the odds are super slim, but doesn't mean
so far, like none of the first round quarterbacks this year that have played have given you any indication that they're not going to be good, which is kind of weird because normally there's always one that just doesn't play well. And honestly, you can look top to bottom in that first round. Everyone that has played has looked good in whatever situations that they've been in, right?
Yeah. And Drake May, for Drake May to be in the shitty situation he's in, he did a very solid job. And obviously, hopefully they can help him out there or whatever. And with Michael Penix too, you saw some good stuff from him as well. But the Bo Nix one is the big one because in our chat, like we say we like Jaden Daniels, we like JJ McCarthy. Everybody fucking hated Bo Nix. He was the for sure bust out of this. And outside of Jaden Daniels, he's been one of the better rookie quarterback seasons in recent memory. So, man, at this point, even Joe Milton looks good. Yeah. Dude, when Joe Milton comes, they got an interesting thing going on over there. It's Kirk Cousins and RG3 2.0. But I wouldn't expect Joe Milton to do, I mean, obviously very small playing time, stuff like that. But still, he's looked pretty good so far.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess any more thoughts on playoff stuff?
I mean, there's a different playoff going on right now. Well, soon here. Do we want to talk about the Natty quick, or do we want to save that for the mock?
I was going to bring that up during the giveaway.
Well, because actually, when we get to the mock draft, I guess let's wait till right before the mock draft because there is something that I wanted to talk about with this game and going into the mock.
Well, this next one's going to be really quick because we've already talked about it a million times. But again, it's coming out. I think a guy from ESPN.
Yeah, the ESPN like off-season bold predictions or whatever.
Yeah. Sees like who knows? Like, there's so many teams you gotta cover. You can't really trust those people. There's no way this guy knows everything about all 32 teams. But saying that he could easily see the Vikings giving Darnold a Baker Mayfield type of contract.
I believe he said I believe he said he really truly believes that we keep Darnold. Vikings, is how he put it.
Yeah. At a Baker Mayfield type of contract, which actually isn't that great.
It was $40 million per year. It was
4 years. Yeah, it was even higher than that. Yeah. So that's a hell no from me again. Still, and that has, of course, it was. Even before those last 2 games, I personally would have said the same thing. But it'll be interesting to see how Darnold's contract goes. I'm at the point now, I was like warming up to the idea of like, okay, you can franchise tag him for 1 year, maybe, but even that's completely off the table for me. I think you need to, after that Rams game, it just seems so obvious what we need on this team. And like we've mentioned a million times here, it's in the trenches. and all the money should be put there before you invest anything else in another quarterback, when you already have one that you think is the future on your roster. So at this point, like, I don't even a franchise tag, like, that's going to cost you 40 million next year. We have 70. I'd rather get at least one super impactful player in out of that same salary cap or same
Yeah,
salary.
and I mean, look, I'm again, Darnold played himself out of us being able to afford him. I still truly believe he gets. I'm going to say he gets at least 35 million per year next season. Probably a 3-year deal with 2 years of guarantees, and the third year you can just kind of rip up and move on from him. But yeah, I don't think it's here. I do think those last 2 games, if you're looking for an out of having to keep him around, I do think those last 2 games are definitely the way that you just be like, yeah, well, we'll just let him go somewhere else. And again, the people talking shit about Darnold, I still don't like that because I mean, all intents and purposes, he had a great season. He made himself people said he lost a bunch of money the last couple weeks, which may be true, but overall, he still made himself a lot of money
Yeah.
with the way that he played this season. So I don't.
Dude,
Again,
someone's
I
gonna pay
disagree with
him
people.
probably 40 million a year still.
Yeah, I disagree with people saying that he sucks and he doesn't deserve a contract. I mean, that's all just dumb. You're all just still emotionally overreacting to the whole thing. Darnold's gonna make some money. I think it's time. It's time to just go with
Not for
go with
us.
the rookie, roll him out there, and see what, or roll with the second year guy. I guess not a rookie anymore, but let's kind of see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Enough of that. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have to talk about that again, but it seems like Viking fans are pretty much on the same mindset when it comes to the Darnold situation at this point. So I think it is time. I think we can talk about some college football here, some mock drafts, the whole shebang. I'm team Notre Dame 100% because I think I've showed it last time. I have 2 Riley Leonard cards that I have trying to sell pretty much right after the game. So they will go up significantly if somehow they were able to pull off a W. So yeah, we're going Notre Dame. Obviously, as far as like, if you're a big Gopher fan, I'm not really a big Gopher fan, but if you are, I don't see how you want Ohio State to win.
I don't want Ohio State to win. I think they do, and I
I
don't.
think they probably do, but
Unfortunately, I don't. I don't want. I don't think it's close. I think Texas Notre Dame would have been a more exciting game. I do think Ohio State. I mean, obviously they showed what they got throughout the entire playoff run here, but I guess one of the big things with Ohio State that I'm excited to watch, though, is obviously I'm going to be watching the trenches, trying to see if anybody sticks out to me that offensive, defensive line we could get. But as we talked about needing a running back, I'm going to be watching Ohio State very, very closely. I am going to be watching Judkins, and I'm going to be watching Travion Henderson. I actually started watching some Travion Henderson stuff over this last weekend, and I like him a lot. Again, not a 3-down type back, but I know everyone's really, really excited about Judkins, what he can be in the NFL too. So those are the 2 guys that I'm going to be watching closely this game. They do split some carries, so to me, that I'm excited to watch those 2 play. That's where I'm keeping my eye on. I wouldn't hate it if the Vikes go grab one of those guys in the draft.
yeah, we'll see. I know I told you I was going to dive into the running backs here probably this week. I have not done that yet, but yeah, this is a game where those are 2 running backs. I mean, maybe one of them could slip to the 3rd round, but unfortunately, that's the thing that kind of sucks about this year and the running backs is like, it's just kind of like you got so many great running backs from like round 1 and 2, late round 1. Well, yeah, I mean, Genty, late round 1 going all the way through the 2nd round. And then there's kind of so far based off of what I'm seeing without any personal opinions on the running backs myself, it seems like there's kind of a drop off between like the beginning of the 2nd round and the third and the 3rd round. Like it seems like there's going to be a lot of running back picks in round 2 of this draft. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know how many teams really need running backs, but running backs kind of getting that vibe, but like it's like they're becoming super important again. When you're seeing guys like Derrick Henry and Barkley and what they're doing right now. And then especially for us, we can see what it's like, which I like Aaron Jones, but it has more to do with Aaron Jones and our offensive line as well. So, hey, what up, Belt Ass? Quezzy will miss on the draft as usual. Hey, chill, dude. No, he ain't. It's overrated too, I bet. Jaden McDaniels is overrated too, I bet. Ooh, Jaden McDaniels or Jaden Daniels?
Jaden McDaniels is over.
Jaden McDaniels. I love Jaden McDaniels, but he's a little overrated right now.
Oh goodness. But anyway,
I
suppose
anyways, get into a mock draft here. Again, everybody giving away a Dallas Turner rookie card. Get the hashtag Skulls in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. But chill out here a little bit, my guys. Chill out a little bit here. It's all love here. It's all love. You guys can have your banter for sure. But anyways, let's get it.
And again, so we're not going to know a ton about we know the big names, but obviously we haven't really done our draft prep yet. Neither of us are huge college football fans during the regular season stuff. I started watching a little bit more this year, but I still don't, haven't paid attention enough to know a lot of the really deep names. So are we just doing a one rounder or what are we doing?
I mean, we'll do 3 again just because we only have
we
two
get 2 picks in at least.
Yeah. But this is where the learning begins. Eventually, we go pretty deep in all this, but we'll go 3. They have us at 24 now. Blow this up a little bit. I forget, did I usually have you do the drafting?
I think
we did.
So, I got the third monitor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, we'll start this off slow. Should we just go to our pick on this one again?
Yeah, might as well. All
right. Last time we did get what's his name? Kenneth.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, from Michigan here. But all right, let's just roll right into it. Cam Ward. I know I hear people are thinking that the Browns could go Milroe.
Did I see Genty went 11 in this one? Kenneth Grant already went.
All right, so we have to change things up a little bit. All right.
I need to make it a little bigger. I can barely read it. Ashton Genty to the San Francisco to the 49ers. All right.
They're not feeling good about Christian McCaffrey over there, I guess. All right, so what we got here? We got Hampton, who obviously I hear is definitely a stud. Hey, another guy to pay attention to tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I know they had a couple guys in the trenches there you can watch for. So more
6'3", 327. Let's see, 326. He's a big boy.
Jack Story, the edge rusher. Yeah. He's
but we don't need that. So this is what I'm not liking about this guy is 65.4 true pass rush, run defense. So he's going to be more of
a run stuffer. Yeah. But I mean, you got to get some size in the middle,
No. I mean, I do agree with that, but it's such a priority to get a pass rusher. It's like significant to me.
Well, you're probably.
I mean, our defensive line did solid otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a guy down here. I haven't looked a ton, but TJ Sanders here, 90 pass rush, had 5 sacks, 9 hits, 19 hurries, 2 batted balls. I know he's a guy. And then Walter Nolan as well, 81.9, 91.6 in the pass or run defense grade, but 6 sacks, 4 hits.
These guys may be a bit of a reach where we're at. Do we look into move? I mean, do we try to move back?
We could. Obviously, you have Hampton here that you could go after.
He was the other guy that I watched. If we do bring Aaron Jones back, I would love a guy like Hampton to go with him because he would be that run up the middle, one cut go type running back.
And he's got some elusiveness as well.
That would be a good 1-2 punch with an Aaron Jones type or even a Cam Akers type.
Draft a quarterback who's best available. Best available is Michael Williams, which I'm like, we can't be going edge. We can't go edge. We can't. We got to invest in Dallas Turner. He's the guy there. He's just got to be
mad with Hampton.
Who said that?
He said Nick Riley, Big Barron, which would be corner, which again is a need.
Corner, yeah, is a need. I feel like it's not going to be as a significant.
5 interceptions
right now. This is a very significant need, but I guess we didn't specify if we were going in this thinking that the idea is we re-sign Byron Murphy. We go get a guy like DJ Reed.
I'd love that.
and then we go grab at least like one offensive guard or whatever. So that would mean at that point, like cornerback isn't a significant need here,
But I
but
mean,
we
but
could.
but it also wouldn't hurt to have another young stud to develop. Well,
Yeah,
who knows?
it
Maybe
wouldn't
he
hurt
even
at all.
starts early.
All right, so
I,
how about
I
this?
honestly don't hate trading back.
Here, let me do a little bit of
Because if we could pick up an extra, third round pick or something.
see here. Give me 1 second.
So what we're thinking one of the tackles, running back, corner, trade back.
Yes.
Grab another tight end.
That's JJ McCarthy's boy.
Yeah, right.
He was good when you watch JJ McCarthy highlights and stuff. He was in a lot of them.
And this is a big reason why I wouldn't hate a trade back here, is because two of the biggest, especially if we do get a corner in free agency, two of our biggest needs, you can trade back, accumulate more draft picks, and you can find them a little bit later on. I mean, even if you trade the top of the second round, you're still going to get one of those two interior guys that you pointed out earlier.
So far, we got 40% trade back, 50%, 50% draft Barron, 17% draft Hampton, and 33% draft trade back. How many we got? 6 votes. Come on, get some votes in here, everybody. We got 16 people in here. We needed some votes. What should the Vikings do in this situation when we're left with this? Hampton is a cornerback for Notre Dame. Hampton's the running back from North Carolina.
UNC, sorry.
Yep.
So trade back and draft Barron are tied with 7 votes. How about 3 more votes? If you haven't voted yet, three more votes. Let us know what you want. We'll make a move.
We need at least one more vote. Let's get it. Let's get one more in here.
Trade back. 8 votes. We're tied
at one more.
Votes. Trade back wins with 10 votes.
Trade back wins with
10 now votes. Let's see. So you're going to be the only one that can actually see what options we have for trading, because it doesn't show it on the stream for some reason.
Okay. All right. So Baltimore Ravens with pick 27. So just 3 picks back.
And what could, like, the big thing is, like, what could we get? Because I doubt they would give up 89 or 59. Sorry.
So yeah, they have 59.
I mean, we get 27, 59 for 24 easy, but
yeah. Let's see what else. I'm going to see the pick 30 with the Bills is also available.
See what we could do with that. What else do they have?
They got 50. Oh, they got our 56, 62. So we can give them. We'll take 30. Give them 24.
And I doubt we get any. Yeah, I doubt we'll get that. Or
62. Yeah. Trade accepted. Trade accepted. Hey, that wasn't a forced trade. That's fair. That's fair game. That's fair game.
Quasi really must have coursed them with something. I don't know.
They wanted someone here. All right. Let's go.
We got 4 picks.
Loveland. Oh.
Ooh. Amarian Hampton.
I think this one
went.
I think we got to go Barron here then.
Yeah, I like that idea as well.
All right. We still get Barron with the trade back. Let's do it. Take a peek at him one more time again. 5'11", 200.
Like Braylon said, a little bit shorter, but
a little shorter. But 90.8, 5 interceptions, 33.1 passer rating. That's pretty baller. 91.3. Yeah, this kid looks like a stud based on this. Obviously, we'll do our homework later, but I think Barron's the right choice here. Let's get it. All right, we got another pick coming up.
290 and 97. It'll be interesting to see what's left for running back and
Sanders is gone.
Tackle. I just saw a defensive tackle go.
Dude, that was one of the guys. Cam Scadaboo's gone. Uh-oh.
Scadaboo, no.
Dylan Sampson's gone.
Ooh. All the running backs are gone. So click on that Alfred Collins quick. I believe when I was watching the Texas playoff game. I mean, again, more of a I mean,
Big is
not
he?
awful.
320. So he's 6'5", 320. He's a big boy.
I think I did like what I saw from him watching the Texas playoff game. Which, by the way, Notre Dame has the ball on the Ohio State 1 yard line.
Ooh, we got to get going here. Deion Walker. Wasn't he supposed to be good? I thought he was supposed to be good at one point. So you do have Travion Henderson here as well still.
You could probably get no, I don't think you. No, obviously, I don't think
you probably won't make it to the end there. So yeah, so a lot of these obvious running backs, center from Texas.
Yeah.
That's the thing though. Is like I feel like we're gonna do it well enough in free agency at some of these positions. Like I would hate because free agency is going to be stacked in interior offensive linemen and corners. So I would hate to miss out on that and then come up to the draft and not get the positions that are stacked in defensive interior and running back.
So who was it? Who was the top interior guy left? The guy from Texas?
Yeah.
Right? Which I mean, again, I mean, Riley Leonard in for the touchdown, which he is, again, yeah, more of a click on him again. Let's just, I mean, solid pass rush grade, only 1 sack, but 17 hurries, 6 batted balls. He brings that size that you kind of want. He's good against the, he's okay. He's solid against the pass, really good against the run. I kind of like it.
Here, I'll let Nick check this out real quick. Got running back, defensive interior. At this point, I think I would just go towards this as well. I mean, this guy's got some pass rush. This would be an interesting one to look at.
Yeah, Derek Harmon.
Oh, wow. Henderson actually surpassed Judkins, whatever his name is. What are we feeling there? We'll get, IOL. I think we're going to get cornerback in free agency too, but we need 3 new offensive linemen. A center from Texas is a beast.
Derek Harmon.
I just feel like we're going to,
I'm cool with Collins or Harmon, I think.
I say we go with Collins. Derek Harmon for me.
I like it.
We're just going to roll with some Collins here. We're going to roll some Collins.
So far,
but interior, we have to. There's going to be a lot of. That's going to be the spot to do it, I think. And corner. Like, I'm hoping that when we go into the draft, we're all sitting here like, we could use more corners and interior, but it's not that big of a deal anymore.
What do you got at running back? I see DJ Giddens. I know I hear some good things about him.
The boy Riley Leonard. I need him to do good, and they scored already, huh?
Yep, he scored.
Let's go. Ooh,
double down on defensive tackle.
I mean, I ain't afraid of that. I know. I think we picked this guy last time. I don't know a lot about him yet, but we can't block. That is true, Dan. But if we do not grab offensive linemen in free agency, then we failed free agency. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
So by this point, we better be able to fucking block. Is all I'm saying.
What do we got here? So I guess, like, overall, what do we have running back wise? If you just click on just running backs.
Trade J.J. McCarthy for Bryce Young. What's that?
If you click on like just running backs, what do they got?
No, we kind of went through this last time.
Yeah.
Let's see here. My man, and you're thinking about, to be honest, I love that call. Which guy are you talking about? The Kansas cornerback. I just don't think so. I think at this point we're going to be set at corner. I think we just got to go with the running backs that I don't have a favorite yet, but I will soon. So I'm going to go with the top running back, Giddens. Boom. Doing it. Draft.
So we got corner, we got tackle, we got running back. So we definitely hit the needs. Definitely. And like you said, the hopes that we have another corner and a guard or two out of free agency.
Yeah. That's what I'm expecting. If we do not do that, that'll be a different story. But at the same time, like I'd both offensive line and corner are the like I would like them to be seasoned a little bit.
Yeah,
You know what
I
I'm
agree.
saying?
I would
If
agree
we're not
with
going
that.
to pick the
I
chances
mean,
we pick a third round interior offensive line, and it happens. It happens
yeah,
sometimes, but
but again, like I'd rather us go defensive tackle in the first round. But if we took a corner because the value was just too good wherever we were at, I wouldn't hate that either. Because I mean, as we've seen,
best player
you can never have enough cornerbacks, but you got to address the trenches at some point. So it'll be, I mean, however they do that. And honestly, these mock drafts are only going to get easier, especially after free agency kind of hits. So we'll know what the needs are. But yeah,
right.
Frozen North. I feel like it has been a minute since we've seen you.
Hey, what's up, Frozen North?
Welcome back.
Yeah, what up, Frozen North? Again, everybody, about to give away the Dallas Turner rookie card. Get the hashtags, goals in the comments, like the video, and subscribe. All that good stuff. Give that bad boy away. Let you all go watch this game. Already interrupted. I think I showed this before, and I already talked about it, but I need the boy Riley Leonard to go crazy. I need Notre Dame. If he has a good game, these cards will be doing some numbers. So that's all I care about. Same with, and like I'm gonna have to say, I hate the Eagles, but I have by far the most Eagles cards out of any teams left in playoffs. So I don't know, man.
Fly
I
Eagles
kind of
fly.
need them to win. Yeah, fly Eagles fly. Get them hashtags, goals in. Let's go. We have 4 undercounters. We have nothing at corner. Yeah, except for
none of the defensive tackles like do much for me. Like you have Harrison
not
Phillips,
in the pass rush.
No, you have Harrison Phillips, who's just solid all around. Jalen Redmond, who the jury could be out. I mean, he made some splash plays. I do like Jalen Redmond, but again, like
No problem, Dan.
And then you got Bullard and all that type of stuff. Like again, just good kind of role playing type, good like role playing type guys. But to me, like you need to find that impactful defensive tackle.
No, it's like
don't have that on our roster.
It's extremely important. And I will go so far to say I think in my opinion, and people are probably going to disagree with me, but it's not as obvious as I think it's up as big of a need as interior offensive line, if not more, if not a bigger need in my opinion, because we had no pass rush. When we lined up 3 or 4 on the line, we could not get to the quarterback ever. Like especially if Brian Flores comes back, like he has not had an impactful defensive lineman in the pass rush game. We saw a little bit of Redmond, like you mentioned, but it's that significant. Like, look how impactful the Rams D line has been the last couple weeks. Like, we're not getting that at all from that spot.
And I honestly think you don't need to have as strong of corners because obviously we know the edge rush position is just fine. Like we know Grenard and Van Ginkel are going to get home. Like you said, especially if Flores does come back, which it does feel like is a pretty strong possibility at this point. But especially if he does come back, like you can have weaker corners if you can get to the quarterback on his blitzes. And the one reason we weren't getting there is because we didn't have enough pass rush in the middle of the defensive line. So I honestly think you don't need to go super heavy on corner. Like you can bring back Byron Murphy, a Shaq Griffin, maybe sign a big name or draft one. Like you don't need to be as strong at corner if we can have that impactful defensive interior. So I agree, we do need corner help. We do need a stud out there, but
we're going to do that in free agency.
Defensive tackle to me is number one priority. No matter how you end up doing it, you gotta find your defensive interior guy. That's my like. I understand we need corners, but like you said, like I want DJ Reed in free agency. If we come back with Byron Murphy, DJ Reed, and Mekhi Blackman, I'm not worrying about corner in the draft. I mean, maybe later on, like 3rd round or something, like a developmental guy. But to me, if you get corner and offensive line in free agency, you need to do whatever you can to get the most impactful defensive interior guy you can find.
Hey, Bleeding Purple with the 10. Appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, and that's a lot of depth at DL in the draft. That's
absolutely, yeah.
And that's just the thing is there's tons of depth in the free agency and interior offensive line and cornerback. So I just logically speaking, like free agency is filled with interior offensive line and cornerbacks, and the drafts are filled with running backs and defensive interior. If you could play this out, you want to go grab interior offensive linemen and cornerbacks in free agency, and then you want to go and get your defensive interior guy and running back in the draft. I would say I do agree that, yeah, we want him to be impactful. We don't want to. That's another thing. That's why I want a defensive interior guy in the first round so bad, because I do think it's that important. And I do think it's hard to find impactful guys after the first round on that specific position. We don't see it a lot. So that's why I'm all in on, I don't know. I think my wish list will be, we figure out interior and cornerback and free agency, and offense and defensive line. We end up finding a guy in the first round there. It would be best case scenario in my opinion. Anyways, let's get going here. I'm going to start drawing names. Obviously, if you've been here before, if you haven't, 5 names make it to the duck race. Whoever wins duck race wins this Dallas Turner rookie card. So let's go. 3, 2, 1, boom. If I could have an IDL guy, it would be Nolan Harmon Grant. Okay. No, we would be. We're going to be, hey, so Lee, are you still in here? It's been a minute. What is going on, scoliosis, by the way? Demetrius Underwood. Keep on going, so Lee, let us know. Who is it?
Travion Henderson, 18-yard run.
Well, I got his too. I kind of set up. I got his card. Those are the 2 players I actually need to do good. But quarterbacks are worth more, so I'm going to have to do that. Dan, I know Dan's in here. Let's go. So Lee, I don't know if I see him yet, but we can keep rolling here.
Dan is here.
Of course, Dan is here. Even though I've been giving him a tough time on his corners, and his interior offensive line. Skull Mafia. Mafia, you were Skull Mafia. Yeah, he's here.
Then Judkins had a 15-yard catch. You got to hurry up so we can watch this game.
I know. All right, keeping on rolling here. Mafia, Dan, let's go. Who else we got? And it is, boom, Sarah. Man, Sarah's not gonna be here for the time she had an opportunity. I'm gonna keep going though. Sarah, let us know. Remember, she's the biggest first round bust. Yeah, that's what it.
Steve,
I don't know. I haven't seen you in a while either. Oh, yeah, you're here.
He was literally just here within the minute.
I still have to see. Actually, I just went through my football cards. I don't think I saw any Packer cards in there.
Oh, darn.
I'll have to look. Steve, if you win, I'll look for a Packer card, but I keep forgetting. I don't think I did. I don't think I have any Packer cards. Word, Dan. Word. Yeah, it's a grind time for all of us. We need to find out the best prospects here. Hey, Valerie, are you still in here? You were in here throughout the show. Let us know, Val. Let us know. I'm going to keep rolling. So I don't think we got Salim in here.
No, I haven't seen him yet.
Roger's in here.
Valerie is here.
Valerie's here. Let's go. Roger's usually here. I'm not fake. That's the fake, Steve. This is the Viking fan, Steve. Who else? Wait, who? Oh, yeah, Roger. Hey, there he is. Let's go.
I was going to say, that was a quick first quarter.
All right. This is for the duck race. Whoever wins the duck race wins the card. I got the names here. Mafia, Dan, Steve, Valerie, Roger. Set. How many times? 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not even looking. And we are off with Mafia in the early lead. I don't know if I've seen the little the Trojan duck at the bottom before. Mafia in the league. We got Roger sitting in the back. Valerie towards the bag. Dan in second. Steve in third. 24 seconds left. Anything could happen here.
This is a pretty spread out one. Oh,
you sure, Steve? Are you sure? Prove you are, Steve. Sex slave duck. Let's go. Yep, sex slave. Hey, Dan, the sex slave duck. Hey, Mafia went from first to first.
It's Mafia.
It's Mafia.
Yeah,
He's cruising. He started off first. Obviously, Mafia, I got your information, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I guess the big part of this one, no more NFC North teams left in the playoffs. The NFC North is going to be a lot of fun next year. Very unpredictable. I don't know, man, I'm excited, but obviously full offseason ahead. Vikings have a lot of money to spend. They got some draft picks to spend.
And we'll get into that. So our next show's coming up. Will probably be a lot of free agent based here. Obviously, there's still football left, so it's always kind of a weird time because the offseason hasn't started for everybody else. But start really looking into like bringing up the free agent list, looking at actual options and all that good stuff. But in the meantime,
fun because now we have money and everything to bring the players here, so it's gonna be a good offseason. I feel like we're gonna make some splashes.
We better. We fucking
splashes on the big time positions at the free agency, start of free agency. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Go enjoy the rest of this football game. We'll see you guys next time right here. GG Sports Podcast. You know what to do. Hit subscribe, like all that stuff.
Go Vikes.